Hey y'all, so today I had my consultation with the gynecologist at MGH, Dr. Weinstein, which has been the one I've been needing to get to because she's my first step in the whole process, and it went really well. She was super nice. Um, I feel like she was the nicest out of all of them, and I don't know if that's for one of two reasons. Like either uh, either it's because she's a woman and she's just generally better at making connections than men, or because I just personally connect and relate and am more comfortable around women because I was raised as a woman. So it could just be her, and I think it's just also her demeanor in general. It's just like much nicer. She spent like 45 minutes with me. The other two spent like 25 minutes tops with me, and that's including like she also did like a 2-minute like external exam. So it was a little more in depth. The others didn't really do much other than explain their procedures, but she really wanted to like get to know me and understand why I was doing it, and talked a lot about just how she does the surgery, which is laparoscopically, so just small little incisions in the abdomen. And then we talked about whether or not to leave an ovary, take both, leave one, leave both, the whole different combinations you can do. And she said there's no real hard proof one way or the other about leaving them or taking them. Some people are like, oh, well, what if it becomes cancerous if you just leave it there? And she's like, there's no proof that it does or does not. And then I said, well, my Aunt Rebecca had ovarian and uterine cancer. And so she's like, okay, knowing that, we'll just take both out. We don't want to risk it at all, should something develop down the road. There's just not a lot of research, especially in trans men. There's more research in cis women, which it's more common to leave at least one ovary just so they have estrogen still being produced. But for trans men, we have testosterone, so we don't need another, it's not like we're going to have no hormones. So she's like, it's a little bit different in your case versus like the studies that I'm aware of that have to do with just cisgender women. So take both ovaries out, and I'll also have vaginectomy at the same time. She was telling me about that. It kind of streamlines the process for starting the fallow stages. If that's already done, she can do most of it at the same time, and then there's just less that I have to do in the fallow stages as far as that goes. They'll finish it up when they make the scrotum and everything during one of the stages in the beginning, either stage 1 or 2 in the beginning. So we just talked about that, and yeah, she told me, she's like, I can't guarantee anything with scheduling just because of COVID. Right now, the hospital won't even let them add any new things for January. She's like, even if I wanted to try and squeeze you in, find a time slot, I'm not allowed to add more patients because of COVID right now. And she's like, so I think the soonest that I have is March. She's like, I don't know for sure, like my scheduler will call you, but she's like, obviously just take the soonest one you can, and we'll try and bump you up if it's possible. So which is perfect. It gives me some time to plan. I was like kind of hoping something might be open in January, which would have been like absolutely perfect. If somebody cancels, I might still be able to jump on a spot. But even if something comes up in February, that would be good too. Because of my job, she's like, you're going to need at least 6 weeks of just not working, and kind of play it by ear from there. If you're feeling okay with lifting and doing stuff, you can get back into it. I feel like I'd be okay doing some of the sewer scopes that I do where it's a little less intensive, and the only thing is I need someone to carry the camera for me because that's more than 10 pounds. And Han's like, I could come with you for that kind of stuff, like if we decide that we want you to kind of work for like the last 3 weeks of the 6 weeks to try and like, obviously the first couple weeks I'm going to be feeling pretty down and out. And it depends if I end up going home with a catheter. We talked about that. Just because once you start messing around down there, it kind of makes everything a little weird for a little while. That's what she said. She's like, you might have to go home with a catheter if you don't pass the void test. But I was like, honestly, I'm going to be cathed for freaking ever once I start doing urethral lengthening. So like, what's another catheter? So she was super down to earth, super friendly, like really connected to her really well. And she's like, okay, hopefully next time I see you is, when I'm about to go into surgery for you. So hopefully it'll happen soon. That's my fingers crossed. She's like, told me not to expect to hear from somebody just because of the holidays. She's like, we don't hesitate to call and harass, to call or message over the patient portal to get them to give you a date. So yeah, I feel really good about it. It went super well. She was really nice. It was the easiest office to find out of all of them. It was really simple. And it didn't feel awkward at all. I was worried when I was like walking in and getting there. I'm like, it's gonna be so awkward. I'm gonna be like the only man in the waiting room. It's gonna be weird. But I had one of the first appointments of the day, I think. There was nobody in there when I got there at 8:30. My appointment was at 9. And about 5 minutes before I got called back, another woman came in. And that was really it. When I walked out, there was a lot of people. By the time I left, it was 9:45. And there was a good amount of people waiting in the waiting room, but like, you know, nobody's really paying attention to who's walking past. So I was definitely worried about feeling uncomfortable. I think it was nice to have the first slot of the day to kind of take away some of that like awkward waiting where there was nobody there to hear her call out Liam. So that was nice. I was definitely worried about that. So yeah, all in all, it went really well. I got home a lot sooner than I thought I was going to, like no traffic going down or back to Boston, which was impressive. So I'm feeling thankful and happy to have accomplished all of my consultations now. My intake consultation was January 27th. So we're almost exactly 11 months later, I'm finishing finally seeing all the surgeons. So, yeah, next step is I changed my insurance plan. So I'm going to have to call all the different surgeons and say, here's my new information, and probably have to do the prior authorizations again. But I'm going to a plan that actually covers him right off the bat, and I won't have to jump through so many hoops. So, yeah, I will keep everybody posted on what happens when I schedule. Definitely... I'm gonna have to figure out financially what we're gonna do for that time period. Might put up a little fundraiser. I have Venmo. If people want to start donating now, I will just be putting that into my savings to help with that time off. So, and Han will still be working, so we won't be totally without money coming in. But I just don't know how my work is gonna work out during that time. If I can get back to it. The problem is I don't do a lot of sewer scopes, so I can't rely on that as anything solid, certainly. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it and ready to get the process started, even if it's just I do hysto and then I've got to wait a little while. It feels good to know that like things are happening. So yeah, I hope everybody has a great holiday season, whatever holidays you're celebrating. Yeah, and hope you guys are having a good week, and I'll talk to you next time.